I'm your host, T. Mitchell Bell, and we're here at Acoustic Songs Live from WNJR Studios. And we have Kelly Zullo here in the studio today. How you doing, Kelly?
I'm good.
Cool, cool. You guys just came in from Columbus, and hold on to your buckle in, guys. Kelly's going to play some songs for us. What do you want to do for us right off the top there, Kelly?
Well, I'm just going to go at 150 beats per minute right at noon right here.
Awesome.
Right now.
Wake up, everybody.
Right,
this is Kelly Zullo on Acoustic Songs Live.
Kelly's Coffee.
Don't be so strange, yes, truth is contagious. You have to save this fire inside. You're just a stereo, and I'm just a stereo, and I can pick up all the thoughts you have in my mind. We're just a firecracker, we all a firecracker. We're just a firecracker, life is a sky. We're just a firecracker, here to find our light, yeah. We gotta find the light, yeah. Don't be so strange, yes, the fear is dangerous. You have to take that and get it out of your side. You're just a stereo, and I'm just a stereo, and I can feel all of the things you thought you could hide, yeah. So we're just a firecracker, we all a firecracker. We're just a firecracker, life is our sky. We're just a firecracker, here to find our light, yeah. We gotta find our light, yeah. We gotta find our light, yeah. We gotta find our light, yeah. Don't be so strange, yes, truth is contagious. You have to gauge that, keep that shoe inside of your stereo. You got your stereo, and don't let it pick up all the low frequencies, those bad frequencies. We're just a firecracker, all a firecracker. We're just a firecracker, life is our sky. We're just a firecracker, here to find our light, yeah. Here to find our light, yeah. But don't be so strange, yeah, 'cause fear is contagious.
Yeah, that don't wake you up. I don't know what will. I think that was the song that you had submitted, or what caught my eye. I was like,
Possible. I've had that one a while.
yeah, I have to get her on here. Hopefully. So welcome. Thank you very much for being here and driving in from Columbus and
I'm
everything.
removing my coat whilst we talk. So.
Okay. So I would be remiss not to discuss your style of playing. It's like, if you can't see this, everybody out there in the radio, but there is no bass drum going on. So that to me, or there's no stomp box or any of that kind of stuff. It's just your wrist on the acoustic, right?
True, in here, but I have started adding on stage a drum set and bass pedals. So there is that on stage now, which is fun. It's a lot of fun. But I'm playing like that, and then with my right foot, I'm playing like organ bass pedals.
Gotcha.
So it's like a whole new routine. I need a second chiropractor.
Well, I've had folks in here who had a bass drum and kind of a like the one man band kind of thing, and
Right.
But there's so much coming out of there. Number one, I don't know how you sing while you do those runs, because that, for me.
Well, I'm not thinking about them at all. I've played them so many times it's like, it's kind of an involuntary scale.
Just motor memory, right?
Which sounds kind of non-musical, but then, no, I do throw, when I'm not singing, I throw in little embellishments. But yeah, it's pretty like it's not something you think about anymore. It's like when you just play a note, and it just happens.
Yeah, like riding a bike, you're just riding a
Yeah,
bike.
you're not
and
thinking like, oh, I got to push the pedal down now. Oh, I got to push the pedal up. Oh, I got to push. It's just kind of happening.
Yeah. But the thing, the timing is just right there. I mean, this is like wow, it's just on.
Yeah, I work all day with a metronome, pretty much. So
Okay.
I learned a lot. I learned back in the music school. Everyone had a metronome, and I was like, what's that?
Yeah.
Ever since, I've had many that have broken and bought more. So
as far as your training and everything, how did you start learning, playing guitar?
Well, I started playing guitar a long time ago when I was like 12, and I was just playing because it was fun, and I was an only lonely child, and then in college I got more into being a songwriter. But I always wanted to be, I was always gravitating towards people who played acoustic guitar with a real fury. But I always played well for playing the acoustic guitar. Like I'd play really aggressive, but I never had developed it into like a complex note system or anything like that. So that didn't really come to me until like maybe like 6 or 7 years ago, and then I started to realize, wow, to really get this down, I've got to basically sit down with it for 5 or 6 hours every single day, and like, so I started really learning discipline, and part of learning discipline is like you get close to it and then you get distracted by life, and then you see what effect that has on your performance. It's kind of like training for an Olympic sport or something,
Mm-hmm.
and then you start to realize like, oh no, discipline means that I have to every day, because you see how your body reacts to training. And so I'd say in the past couple of years, like I've really learned to every day, like there's no taking a day. Well, there's if I get sick like this week, but if I take it a couple days off, I make sure I make up for it. I've become extremely very militant about it.
It's like it is athletic. Being a musician, at the same time, then you get into that. I guess I would imagine you get into that like almost like a Zen-like state, huh?
Yeah,
like when you're running, you're just.
I'm trying to love running, but I'm not there with that yet. But yeah, you're right. I notice when I don't have time to practice, I'm kind of cranky. It's a meditative thing where I sit down, and at first it was just I don't want to do that all day. And people that I try to tell, you need to practice. They're like, oh God, anything but that. But after a while, when you learn to sit down and like quiet your mind and you spend time with yourself, it's like, oh, has it already been 3 hours? And It is, and it's funny because that's where I come up with a lot of my ideas for songs or designing something, or so I'm sitting there and just I'm really focused. So
yeah, that's the distraction for me. I'll start practicing, and then all of a sudden I'm writing a song.
Yeah,
oh, okay, well, forget about doing those scales. Okay,
you should let yourself though, but always guide yourself back to what you were doing.
Yeah.
But it is helpful because then sometimes I wrote that song in the middle of a practice. So, I don't have to sit down and write because I already did it.
Yeah, it's for me. It's probably like an ADD thing. I just can't sit there.
But I can't honestly say that every day I'm like this disciplined militant, because like yesterday I put on Pandora 90s hip hop and I practiced along with that all day. So like sometimes you have to like break it up, So.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, Kelly, we certainly appreciate you coming here today, and you want to do another song for us?
Sure.
Cool. What's this called?
Don't know yet.
You don't know, huh? you just use a standard tuning like normally, or
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is just a drop D.
Yeah.
This is called "Wish Upon a Star."
Heaven doesn't know why you wish so far out there in the world, on the moon and stars, to change what's inside of your heart.
All right. Yeah, I have no compressor on this thing, so I'm riding these faders, trying to. Yeah, it's very percussive. I mean, like.
Should I move my?
No, you're good. You're good. Like when you talk, just get a little closer. But
Hey.
I mean, it just sounds like there's a whole like a kit, on top of like kit with tones,
Part of it is mine. I have this nail I have put on.
Oh,
too.
okay.
And it's like a humongous acrylic nail.
Yeah.
And so I use that to do my like pull offs, like adds a little bit of variety.
Yeah. So you're doing almost like a slap bass player.
But I'm using a pick still, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you got a couple things going on.
It's like
there.
having two picks right next to each other,
Gotcha. Yeah, that's wild. So there's some artists that influenced you in looking over your bio, Rodrigo and Gabriella.
Yeah.
And Annie DeFranco. I could see that plant, coming into playing. She's very, very percussive. Plus that fingernail thing. I mean, that's.
She had several, yes.
Yeah, she has like a bunch, and then what?
I couldn't keep track of that many.
Electrical tape. And
yeah, I tried that at first, and I was like, man, this is hard. I'm gonna have to go to the nail salon.
Yeah. And I'm reminded of like Khaki King too, and Michael Hedges. That's
totally. And then there's this guy I've been playing some shows with, Michael Kelsey, and he was a big Michael Hedges person too, and we play amazingly together because he plays very similar to me, and we both really like to funk it up, and he plays a lot of notes. He sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So.
One of the first times I saw some of that was with Stanley Clark, back years ago with the jazz stuff where he was playing on the fretboard almost like a piano, where he was doing like the finger tapping stuff that Michael Hedges, was also in that kind of world playing, but his stuff was more, I don't know, percussive,
there's a lot of people doing that now, especially the finger tapping thing,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm not really that mesmerized by, but there's not a lot of people who are playing the acoustic guitar with any you know why? It's hard to play it hard because the strings are not as movable as an electric. The electric strings are much easier to so it does take a lot more building up your muscles to really attack it, like it's like to play it like it's nothing. I think that not a lot of people will lightly dance across the strings, with the tapping and stuff, but
yeah, I
really gravitate to people who can make the phosphor bronze strings seem like they're made of like butter, like that's always really cool.
Yeah.
Some days I do great, and if I'm warmed up, and just never know.
I've seen you playing electric also in some of the videos. So when you make that move to your dealing with like an electric guitar,
Huh. It has been a while. Wow, I can't remember when that was. I don't have one anymore.
Okay, I thought I saw do you find like when you go to move to the electric guitar, then
it's so much easier.
It's easier?
It's like playing like dental floss,
But then your touch has to change too. You can't play like as hard as you do.
You can, but it'll sound kind of crazy, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I was wondering about that.
You could get really heavy strings, I guess.
Yeah, which Stevie Ray Vaughan, I think, played like that. He had really heavy strings and would something crazy like 12s on an electric or something. 13s or whatever on the high E, which
it's funny. I had a really beautiful electric guitar, and long story short, somebody kind of swindled it out of me to trade for guitar repairs that weren't very good. But I had like a 1962 Gibson hollow body, and that was my last electric. And I think when I lost that, I was like, well, what's gonna top that, So I just I have an amp still, but I don't have I don't play electric anymore, really.
How about you're playing a Gibson now, right? That looks like it's from
it's a 67. Mm-hmm.
Nice, yeah.
It's not so much in nice shape, I'd say, but it's nice. I've beat it up.
Yeah. Well, the older instruments definitely, like today, everything's made overseas and everything was made here in the States. It's just, I think, better quality wise.
Yeah, when I was in Germany, I played a guitar made by it was a Lakewood, and that was really phenomenal. I would like to get one of those if I didn't have this.
Cool. So you were we were talking a little bit about your background. Did you study music when you were in college, or did you?
Yeah, I have a really colorful music past. You know, it started like when I was early teens as just being so into pop and country, and you know, playing just more your basic chordal kind of. And I was karaoke. It was when karaoke started, and so that's when I got singing, and you know, that was just fun. And then in college, I studied saxophone for a semester, and then I was like, well, this probably isn't going to be real profitable. And then I switched over to production engineering, which was slightly more profitable, but, you know, I can't say I've really used my degree. So I didn't study music formally in college, but I did go to school in Nashville, and I feel like I played with a lot of the people who were making records. And because back in those days, like, people were mostly doing country music. It was in the late 90s. It wasn't so saturated. And if you were doing a rock project, sometimes people would just jump on it because they were excited to do something other than country. So I feel like I got to play with people who attained a super high level of just focus and discipline. And I really picked up on, like, oh, man, like, I got to get to that level. You know, it was like something you've never seen before, because you grew up in this town of 3,000, and you're like, oh, I thought I knew what I was doing, you know? So I would say that was more of like school than anything else, and just what I learned from that. And I always knew I wanted to get to that level, but I was so caught up in songwriting for so long that I didn't focus musically on an instrument specifically. So that didn't happen until, like, you know, my 30s, until I was like, you know what? I just got to sit down and pay the price every day. I got to sit down and play 5, 6, 7 hours a day. And that's the way that anyone who's great at it, that's how they've done it. It's not just a magic leprechaun comes and, you know, sometimes people smoke maybe a lot of pot and they don't remember practicing, but they did it at some point.
Or sometimes they smoke a lot of pot and they think, I'm really much better than I am.
Or maybe, I don't know. I'm the most square, I'm the most sober person in the whole world, so I definitely remember all my practicing.
Gotcha. Where did you go to school? And you mentioned Nashville. Did you go to like some
Belmont?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know it's really big music school down there. There's a lot of talent.
It was just like, oh my God, like, I'm in the world. It was just amazing. It was most amazing. The school was a good school. I'm not crediting all the amazingness to the school, so to speak. Not that I'm giving it a slam. But it was just a place where so many people, like, oh my God, these people are like at another level, like, and I get to be creative with them, and then there's people in the city who are on an even bigger level. I was like, wow, you know, it was like, and then I was working with all kinds of really great people. So,
and they could be your waiter, you know, too. Like,
I was a waiter there I probably worked at 10 restaurants there, you know.
That's the thing. Like, everybody that lives there is just so freaking talented that
nowadays it's even crazier. I left in 2010 because, you know, I felt like I had my ride and my wave, and I wasn't really developing. So I realized, like, I wanted to just go and experience other things. But yeah, you know, I probably worked at 30 different places there. I lived there for 15 years, and on and off, and
oh wow,
it was hard to let go. In fact, my number is still a Nashville number, you know.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to think of the burrito place over near over by Berry Hill.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Zoe's,
I can't remember
something
it.
in Zoe's, or but there's also a burrito place. Yeah, I was down there in 2008, 2000.
I was probably eating there.
8 and did a recording, and we went there every day to eat. It was.
I bet you were working. I know where you were working. Berry Hill Sound Studio or something like that.
Sputnik, which is right on Iris.
Iris. Yeah,
they're everywhere.
A cool little area back there.
Yeah, there's all that. Yeah, I agree. It's just like such a amazing place to be and all that, you know.
The downside for it, though, was that I expected every city afterward to be sort of similar and sort of have the same things to offer, and I had to learn the hard way, you know, like Oh, no. I think that's probably why I gravitated more to developing just my, like, playing the bass with my feet and stuff. And because, like, I wanted to just be more independent, you know, and
Yeah.
do that. So.
Well, in case you just joined us, you're listening to Acoustic Songs Live here on WNJR from the studios at WNJR Studios. And we have Kelly Zullo by way of Columbus, Ohio, and apparently from a lot of other places too, Nashville. And Kelly's playing some tunes for us. What do you want to do? You do another
Well,
song?
let's actually change tempos here a little bit. Make sure I'm in tune. You know?
Yeah, I was actually checking out some of your other stuff other than the funky, you know, kind of high energy stuff in your songwriting, like this, which is what I think you're going right now, is really good. Yeah.
Well, you know, I
really
I was just plainly a songwriter for so long, and the best thing is to try to fuse that all together, you know.
And what's the name of this song?
Oh, this is called 10,000 Dirty Dishes.
I think this is the one you wrote about when you got back from the road or something like that.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, I thought I was so cool, and now I've got nothing going on, you know? Because, you know, it takes so much time to book all this stuff, the fun stuff you do, and you don't have time while you're doing it to continue booking. So you always have this wave and then this valley, and then the valley's always like, oh my God, nothing's going on. You know, I don't know. I always went through that because I never had the money to hire somebody to book my stuff. So
Yeah.
or tune my guitar. Usually it's always in tune.
Yeah, you need somebody to come out behind the stage and
Heck, you know, the older I get, I'm like, I just really want someone to drive me. Like, I want to hire a driver so I
yeah.
can sit in the back and practice.
Yeah.
See how obsessive I'm getting about it?
There you go.
I actually bought a miniature guitar so I can practice everywhere I go.
Oh no.
It's horrible. All right. I'm kinda starved. I'm under these layers. I've been driven by fires, but I stopped all the burn. I'm no wire from living large. I got 10,000 dirty dishes, and I find all trouble in the world, 'cause I only know how to follow all my wishes. I've been living on the first train to the heart. All emergencies but working through the scars. Now I'm looking at the birds and the flowers, trying to find a reason of urgency to devour. 'Cause I'm nowhere from living large. I got 10,000 dirty dishes, and now the fog of trouble comes to my heart. 'Cause I'm out there following all of my wishes. I'm just following my wishes. I'm nowhere
trouble and back so far. 'Cause I'm here to follow all my wishes.
Very, very nice.
Like it.
Yeah. I was just checking out your event you have tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Yeah, at Mr. Small's, Girls Rule.
Girls rule.
Cool.
I like that I'm still considered a girl. I mean, not that I've changed over, but I'm just, girls are super young, but I'm like super young, I guess, compared to like someone who's not.
Well, yeah.
Me
too.
I just had to get my way out of that one.
I definitely am.
I'm really good at that.
So Liz Berlin's going to be there. And
Yeah, she's a member of Rusted Root. She's in the band Rusted Root.
Yeah.
And her Drowning Clowns is her band too.
Cool.
And she's also does solo artist work. So she's done a lot of stuff. She's super cool. She really does a lot for the Pittsburgh local music community with this show. She basically prints out all the tickets, and it's free to get in. And anyone who comes and brings in that ticket, that artist gets paid for that person to come.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And the person coming doesn't have to pay. So it's like really supportive, and it's a great venue too. It's really big and beautiful, and
yeah,
it's really fun. It's fun show to do.
Yeah, the creative life support. Yeah, she does that. That's really cool. And Crystal Lee Morgan, Joanna Lowe, Midge Cricket, Scarlett and the Harlots, Kelly Zullo, Action Camp, and Raging Vaginas.
Yes.
I just wanted to say that.
You just waved that one for the last.
Yeah, I did. Well, it's on last on the list. So I did. Yeah. So that should be a really, really good show. I hope everybody out there listening definitely goes and check it out. So anyway, in case you're just joined us, you're listening to Acoustic Songs Live. We're at WNJR in Washington, Pennsylvania, and Kelly Zullo's here in the studio playing some tunes for us. What do you have coming up as far as you on tour now or?
Oh, it's a perpetual thing.
Mm-hmm.
These days it's not like, oh, I'm going out for 2 weeks to sail the seas. Nowadays it's like I go somewhere for a few days and come home. So it's a lot of that. In May I'm going to New York City and Boston and upstate New York. So I got an Eastern PA. So I spend a lot of time at the beginning of the year booking shows, and then there's that wave where you get busy. Mm-hmm. And so you're busy, and then you're not, and then it comes in waves. And then the summer probably be a lot of festivals and stuff like that. So
yeah, it's a weird time warp, kind of thing. You
just gotta ride it,
Yeah, from the booking, but also doing the recording, and you may have a recording that a year later it's coming out, and there's something to that effect. Some of that is
just basically have to stop paying attention. I get really caught up in practicing, and then when I decided I wanted to play the bass with my feet and play the drums, and so that took a lot of work. So I got kind of caught up in that, and so I've been working on that more. And
yeah,
8 hours can go by, and you're like, oh, I have to do this tomorrow now too, So
yeah, I know what you mean.
Me and my bright ideas.
There's 52 weeks out of the year, it's like, okay, what am I doing on each of these days? And then before you know it, the year's gone. It's time for another one. Yeah.
As long as you used it wisely, I mean, you'll never catch me sitting around watching whatever TV shows on in the middle of Judge Judy.
Oh, no.
I had to sit in bed for 2 days this week, and it was torture. I tried to do my taxes, and I was like, this isn't a good idea. But it's just hard. I don't like to waste any time ever.
Well, doing it all on your own with the performing, and then the promotion and the booking and all these hats that you have to wear.
You'll never succeed at doing them all 100%. So you're like, oh, I did some stuff. I filled today up, and you're like, cool, and I did the most I could. But you can never ever stop practicing, because then it seems like, oh, but how can I spend 5 hours just playing these scales? But it's easy to say, I can just not do that today. You can get away with it not doing it one day, but you can't get away with it doing it every day. And a lot of people did all this stuff earlier, in their teens or in college, and I don't think it wasn't really nailed into my head that you need to sit down and do things that aren't fun for hours and hours, So it's just it just takes time to learn. I told someone earlier, I was like kind of a bumper car set off on a course and just hit that wall, and then, so I go that way, and then I hit that wall. Oh, that's not a good way to go, and eventually I'm like, figured it out,
Yeah. Well, we haven't had anybody on the show who's actually been written up in Guitar World. I think that's the first thing I saw in your bio. That what was that? Did you say did a
Dude, that was so random. When they say when your mind decides something, it'll happen. It was like around Christmas, and I was sitting practicing, and sometimes when I sit and practice for a long time, I get really warmed up. Not like today, because I just started playing today, but I was practicing for all day, and I was like, damn, I'm really good today, And I was just like, why am I not in Guitar World magazine? So I just got online, and I looked up, like, acoustic guitar, editor, and then a couple people's names came up. And I just sent them a sincere email, like, I'm working on this project. I was doing a video. I'm like, would you like to feature it? And within a day, she was like, yeah, we'll do it. It was the easiest thing that ever happened. And it was like because I literally, like, my heart just said to me, you should be in this magazine. Like, I really meant it. And I think sometimes in my life, I've not always been, I've been more humble than I need to be. It's not helping me out, like, oh, I'm good. I don't need any recognition, and.
Yeah, that's a tough kind of line to walk between humbleness and arrogance. And I want everybody to hear me, but I don't want to sound
really,
boastful. It's like, yeah, but it's like, it
wasn't like an ego wanting everyone to hear me. It was like, God, this is just really cool, and this should be in an acoustic guitar magazine. Like, why should Of course, I
agree.
So
it should.
But it was just my heart speaking to my mind and really meaning it. And it was really interesting to see, like, within an hour, my phone was like, yes,
Awesome.
So that was neat.
So it was just meant to be. That's
it's like what all those self-help books tell you.
Do they have self-help books for just guitarists, and then
they
there's
should,
self-help books
it would be
for
probably very thick.
Just drummers, and then self-help books for just lead vocalists? I mean, take your pick about jokes.
You could have a lot of memes. That, like, those ones are like, what my parents think I'm doing, what I'm really doing, and then like the different books. I don't know.
Yeah, well, creative people in general, could have their own line of self-help books. With at least that's what my wife tells me.
It's easy though to get like sopped into those. I went through a period of my mid-20s where I would just go to a bar and I would sit, order a shot of whiskey, and read Ralph Waldo Emerson, or like I had these four philosophers that I really loved, and I would just highlight things. And I really loved what I was reading, but it was helpful. But I can see, you can get like that's my thing, I don't know, the self-help thing.
Yeah. Yeah, but you internalize that, and it becomes a part of who you are,
It's a nice vacation.
Yeah, I mean, you're reading Emerson, not, I don't know, some economist.
Dracula, vampire romance.
Or, I'm going to read about Einstein's theory of relativity, or, I guess.
I actually really like math.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
That's cool. Well, in case you just joined us, we have Kelly Zullo. She's playing some tunes, and we're all digging it here. What are you going to do for us?
Oh, more circus tricks.
More circus tricks? Okay.
Yep, this is a real low key for me because I don't have to use my feet. I'm real paring it down here.
Okay.
No bass pedals. So I'm just going to play fast.
Today I think I'm gonna spend my makeup. I'm realizing the ghost is in my head. I'm realizing I'm climbing all these ladders. With every step I take, I feel I skip another step. And I think, well, if we get there, where all the fear's gone and there's no stranger
Awesome. Another one of my favorites. Yeah, that's like one of the. It just you just want to drive your car really fast when you hear that song.
Well, I should listen to that more because I drive too slow.
Put it on and just like, okay, I want to get there really fast.
Thanks.
Anyway, that was really good. Very cool. I think with your technique and have you ever taught? You know, just
Yeah,
teaching
here
something.
and there, but I like usually like someone just says, "Hey, do you want to teach me?" I've tried to set out and be a teacher. Like when I lived in Chicago, I had trouble finding ways to make money a while ago, and so I was the Craigslist teacher, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I did get some students, and it was fun. But I just found, you know, it wasn't really my heart was, and it took a lot of work to get those students and keep them, especially in a big city like that. And so I didn't really stick with that because it was like. It was it was a lot of energy, you know. I've learned that having to, you know, you need to practice more than you need to do anything, and I try to remove any distractions. I used to be such a tourist and lackadaisical, you know, like just wanting to check out the city and sit at a coffee shop and be cool, and I've just become so boring, and I'm all about discipline, and I've changed a lot. So I've filtered out so many things that I used to just spend my time. I used to just stand in the backyard and listen to Pandora and just dance and just goof around constantly, you know. I mean, but I'm much different these days, and so anyway, no, I do teach if someone just asks me or seeks me out, but I don't go after it because I feel like there's a zen of time wasting. Maybe that'll be my book that I write someday from all this.
Yeah. Well, one of the reason I asked that is that, you know, I get on Netflix and there's a lot of these instructional videos that are out there that everybody's put out. And there's, you know, a lot of acoustic folks, a lot of acoustic, Kelly Joe Phelps is somebody that I really like his playing. And I studied with local guy, Ernie Hawkins. He has a set of instructional videos that he puts out on all kinds of stuff, and it's like this, you know, finger style type of thing. And
I would love to do a video, yeah.
That I mean, what you do is so unique that, you know, somebody would be like, oh wow, yeah, I probably would pay for that, you know, like.
Yeah,
hey.
if someone had a good camera. I have a GoPro, which is pretty good. You know, I've tried to do a lot of things on my own, like record my own records and make my own videos, and I'm start to find out in the end that it's just better to hire people. So for me, it's more like I need to get a budget, you know, to have someone do it a good job. Like I don't want to. I could probably just do something like that with my GoPro, but I kind of like want to get away from doing stuff all by myself these days.
Yeah, I hear you.
Totally. I'd like to do. I just would like to do it well. So I think I'm waiting more for the right person to come along and be like, yeah, I'm a video person. I'll do that. Here, pay me this much, and we'll do it. You know. I guess I've become more like I allow things to come towards me more than like to spend my time chasing after them. You know, like.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something I've put out there that I want to do.
Yeah, the universe kind of does that. It just, you know, hands you stuff everyone. It's like, oh, okay.
Sometimes. I mean,
yeah.
A long time ago, you know, I used to be out there pounding the pavement and you know, it's working really hard to sell something. And if you work more on the product, I find that people are excited about it and they come to it, you know.
Right.
And what I'm doing more now is more focused in a certain genre or demographic, so I feel like it's easier to, well, it's never easier, but I know what I'm trying to offer people now. As before is like, well, I write songs and sing songs, like everyone does that, you know, and now I'm like, it's a really cool guitar thing, you know, and like,
yeah,
so.
Yeah, and in today's music world, the way things are, as opposed to the way they used to be, where you would, you know, have a little 4-track cassette or something like that. I'm probably showing my age here now, so
I had one of those.
You know, making a demo tape, and then, you know, I'm going to send it off to this record company, and they're going to, you know, anxiously awaiting for my tape as with like, you know, thousands of others that they just throw in the trash, you know, winds up in the can. But what you're saying is that you're making yourself stand out from the crowd, because there's so many people out there right now doing this thing. Anybody that has a camera, sits and puts up a YouTube video or puts something up on a SoundCloud.
Yeah, I've just tuned out. I mean, I used to be like, oh my God, who's this new person who has 50,000? I never even heard this person. Like, it's hopeless, But like, I don't care anymore. I told Ann driving the car today. I said, I don't like. We were listening to the radio and some new act came on. I was like, I don't know who this is. I said, but I would be happy if just like I'm always going to continue to develop my skills, and I don't care how old I get or insignificant, because this is kind of like my religion, to practice and get better all the time. And like if I'm just known in very small musician circles, and will never write a catchy song because I'm not entertained by writing about guy who broke my heart or something, like. If that's fine. Like I'm totally cool to just be respected for playing really complicated stuff that most people won't like, and it's hard to relate to, but it's cool, and it's not that they won't like it. It's that it's not simple enough to connect them to them when they were standing in line at Starbucks and they felt like heartbreak. You know.
Yeah.
That I'm trying to write more about the deeper undercurrents of our psyche than like that person didn't call me back. Call me maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'd be fine to be like, I've never heard of her, but then people like kind of this person I've been doing shows with, Michael Kelsey, like people have heard of him are like, wow, he's amazing, and to be revered in smaller circles and respected and have something to give to people who are really absorbing it on a deeper sponge level than just giving out to the masses and coating everything with a white sand that's going to blow away in 30 seconds, to me is like fine. I'm fine with that.
And there's just different waves in the music industry anyway, so you have to stay true to yourself and play what you're playing. Otherwise you end up being a chameleon, which there are people who are like that. I mean, that's how Madonna's made a career out of just changing, one
there's
thing
probably
to the
about
next.
50,000 people who are more popular than me, definitely. But what was I gonna say with that? I had something really profound, and wow, it just left my
Slipped
brain.
away. Well, it'll come back. In case you just joined us, you're listening to Acoustic Songs Live, and we have Kelly Zullo here in the studio for WNJR. I'm kind of curious now. I want to see the bass pedal thing we're talking about. I haven't.
To trek out to Pittsburgh tomorrow.
I'm thinking that will be on the list. Yeah, but I don't know. My kids. I'm like Mr. Mom at home. In the afternoon. So,
the great thing about the bass pedals is if you miss where you're headed for, it just sounds like an embellishment.
Gotcha.
It sounds like a leading tone.
Gotcha. And what do you use? Like you're triggering that with MIDI?
Yeah, real current technology. No, I bought on eBay just an old Roland foot pedal trigger thing with it's like for organs, usually keyboards. And then I just bought a kind of dinosauric MIDI brain. It's like the size, it's like this big box, and I just found a good bass sound on that. So. And
that's it. It's not using like some computer setup or anything like that.
No, I could use a computer, but I figure that's just one more complicated thing. This is like turn it on, plug it in, and I don't have to, go to pages and stuff. So the least amount of things you have to do is probably better.
I think the first person I saw doing that was Geddy Lee from Rush.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
I've heard of bands doing it who don't have bass players doing that, yeah.
Yeah, but he was playing bass and he had like one.
Well, that's just gluttonous.
Or what's the Edge from U2? He also had like a trigger thing where I think he triggered the loops or sounds that he had on his synth. There's a lot of keyboard stuff that he did in addition to the guitar. So you want to do another song?
All right. It's still really bothering me that I lost my train of thought, and I've been trying to think of it ever since
profound.
I left it, man.
And it's about the music industry.
It split my heart in two. Part of me's back in the past searching for it, and part of me's here.
It'll come. It's like right in the middle of doing something, and then it'll be back. And you'll call me on the phone and say, hey, man, this is what I was thinking.
So today on the radio, a song from Dirty Dancing came on, and we were trying to see how fast I can name songs, because I was deeply in tune to the radio in the late 80s, and I couldn't think of who sang it. And I was talking to my memory, like, I know if you don't pressure your memory, the memories are all there. But if the minute you say, it's okay, I know you're there, whatever, it comes to you. And so I did it, and it was amazing because it was deep in my memory. I could remember it, and I was having a conversation with my memory, and boom, Eric Carmen. It was Eric. It was like magic. She came from the center.
There you go.
That was the singer.
I know who he is from the Raspberries. Yeah.
See, you knew. A balloon in the sky is full of air. Air that would be there if the balloon even wasn't there. And any time of day, something sharp could come along and puncture the balloon and leave it on its way to be nowhere. But we keep on flying, even though it could be dying. And we keep on rising, and we go. Happiness the way of dying, dying. Heaviness the way of flying, flying. Emptiness the way of blinded, blinded to the truth that's in the fools who aren't afraid to lose. Even which we are blind, lying. Even loving, even fighting, fighting. Happiness the way of fighting, fighting. The truth is in the fools. We're not afraid to lose. My heart is like a roll of sushi. The inside is the good stuff, but the outside is just to hold it in. If you look in the outside and think, well, let's ship out today, you're gonna miss the whole point, and that's what makes us step out here. Everything we see has another side to believe, and everything we believe has another side to conceive. And there's never any black and white answer, it's only gray, and that's we're so confused even today. And happiness the way of dying, dying. Emptiness the way of flying, flying. Evilness the way of wise and wise. Here the truth is in the fools who aren't afraid to lose. Even if you could decide, yes, sad, yes. One of them is the blindest, blindest. You still have the other wise and wise. If the truth is in the fools, they don't believe it, you still have to choose. You don't have to choose. You don't have to choose. You could know you would not conceal. There ain't a whole you, it's on the whole real. And then the half of you comes up and you feel there gotta be an answer that encompasses one of the two, and then you aren't real because you can't seal that there was you. You got to forget what to want to do, be one thing, but then you're both truths, and you can't say yeah. Happiness though you are flying, flying. Emptiness while you are dying, dying. Helpfulness though you are riding, riding. The truth is in the fools who aren't afraid to lose. Happiness though you are fighting, fighting. Emptiness though you are flying, flying. Helpfulness though you are driving, driving. The truth that's in the fools you aren't afraid to lose. They aren't afraid to lose.
Yes, yes. And I was just checking out your website, and I thought I should tell everybody to go there because
Go
we didn't.
there.
KellyZullo.com. That's KELLYZULLO.com, and check her out. You are taking guitar lessons. I just saw on your website.
Giving guitar.
Or
Yeah,
giving.
it's out there if people want
taking
to.
yeah, taking students on Skype,
Sure.
and they can also buy your CDs there in your store. And there's videos of you got to see Kelly playing. That's all I can say. It's you'll be able to see that after I get the video finished and upload on YouTube, and also you can check out the podcast on iTunes when we have that uploaded from the show today. And that's Acoustic Songs Live. If you go to the website acousticsongs.com, you'll be able to check out all of that and see who's coming up. Next week we have Joshua Smith, which is really funny because he's from Nashville, and I know another Joshua Smith in Nashville. He's a friend of mine, but Joshua Smith is coming up from Nashville next weekend, next Saturday at noon, and Kelly's playing tomorrow night at Mr. Smalls for the Girls Rule show, and check that out. I think it starts at 6. Is that correct?
Does it start that early?
Let me see. Well,
I should know this. It's embarrassing.
When does it start? 6:30. 6:30. And there's about 7.
You're right. It does start early because there's a lot of people. doing the show.
And it's all ages free, $2 under 21. Is that right? Is that what
Yeah, there's a charge if you're under 21, but
cool.
it's free if you're...
All ages. All right. Well, I've got a 12 and a 10-year-old, so maybe I'll say, hey, can you put away your video game screen and go see some live music tomorrow?
Yeah.
that's always tough. Thank you very much for coming today and playing on the show. I really
Thanks for having me.
I really enjoyed it and talking with you. And if you want to take us out with something, it's just like
Sure.
we'll just fade out with some acoustic music, and see you next week at noon on Acoustic Songs Live.